I would like your opinion on this. So I've been applying for something, and one of the questions that they've asked for is to list things that make you angry. So I was like, I'm a pretty emotive person by nature.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm surprised I just don't have a running list that I can just kind of like refer to. But like I have one in my head at all times. So this was a good exercise for me to write it down. But what I want to know is if I've missed anything. Because you guys, you know me enough to be able to be like, all right, David has a lot of opinions on things. He hates a lot of things. So let's see if he's missed any. So I'm going to list them off to you, and you're going to try and see if I missed anything.
Sorry, David, just before you continue, are these ranked or?
No, these aren't ranked so far. Ranking them would be a good little exercise. Actually, I might do a tier list at some point once I have a definitive list made out.
Maybe you should send an attachment of a bracket that you've made as well.
That'll be a bit of fun.
A little bit of a cherry.
What peeves David off more? All right, now let me just run through this list, okay? I like to believe it's a well-curated list, but I think I'm missing something. I think I'm missing a few things, so I'll be keen to get your perspective on it. Another set of eyes, if you will. So, from top to bottom, in no particular order of my non-exhaustive list. Cyclists, slow drivers, obviously within the speed limit. Restaurants that put the parma on top of the chips. People that call it parmi instead of parma. Cafes that make iced coffee with an espresso shot and ice cream instead of using sweetener. Trams on main roads, which are otherwise referred to as road trains. The game of Uno, credit card Monopoly. When I'm leading in Mario Party and someone steals my star on the final 2 turns. The amount of times that's fucking happened to me, I can't even express it to you. Peak hour level crossings, gyms being closed, people that are just a little bit too into horses, people that are also just a little bit too into trains, and the number 4, but last but not least, Connor. Have I missed something there?
I think you've missed everything, because hate's a very strong word, and I feel like there are a couple of things that 100% qualify for that list. So I think the Parma on top of the chips 100% qualifies for the list. I think that's a solid lock. I think we put that one in. That's for sure. Dead set. I think maybe we put down level crossings as well, because that is a thing that I like to no end. You will send me snaps of you like screaming and yelling into the void as the train rolls by.
I should specify
That's
further.
a lock.
Level crossings, yes, they piss me off. But I know what you're talking about, John. A couple of years ago, where I used to live, we'd have this one consistent level crossing that I'd always get fucking stuck. And there's no other way. There was literally no other way I could possibly go. But this level crossing, it wasn't just one train that would go by there. It wasn't just 2 trains. I can accept a 2-train level crossing. One going backwards, one going forward, one going back, right? That's pretty standard stock. This one had 5 go by at that time. I was there for like 20 minutes. I stopped my car and got out and stretched my legs. That's how much fucking time I had that level crossing.
You just got to understand, you got to use this downtime to your advantage and just think about all the other things that you hate.
So that's what I'm saying. So like those two are for sure like a lock. Like I think that they're safe bets. For
John,
sure.
I can't believe you haven't put over the game of Uno yet. Like I feel like that's number 1. If I was tier ranking it, Uno would come in at number 1.
A couple of months ago, I'm sorry, I'm with you on the Uno thing. I lost to a 4-year-old a couple of months ago, twice.
I haven't won in years, and it's not my fault. The rules changed.
David, I'm not kidding you. The first time she played me, it was her first time ever playing, and she had her mother helping her, so honestly, it was a bit of a handicap.
It's a bit of a 2-on-1 situation. I'm not playing. No, that doesn't count. You won.
David, she rematched me by herself solo because she thought she picked up the game in the first 5 minutes, and she got me with a +4 on a go, and she beat me.
Here's a question I got to ask you. It's a question you got to ask anyone when you came to play Uno. What fucking rules were you playing with? It seems to be, and I know we've discussed it before on this podcast, right?
We play civil. We don't play any of these +2 on +4 nonsense.
You shouldn't be doing that anyway. You shouldn't be doing that anyway. Do you end on an action card or do you end on a number card? Or can you end on either?
I think we played it on either.
I'm not having it.
Actually, no.
I'm not having it.
You've got to end on a number card. Like that's.
You got to end on a number card. And I've asked Uno this too, and Uno has actually gotten back to me. I had the actual Uno people get back to me on this. For anyone who plays with this stupid fucking rule of you're able to play 2 cards in your turn if you have the exact same card as the other, you can't do that. You can't. Literally, Uno said you can't.
The only people who actually exercise that rule are people who don't understand the chivalrous nature of the game of Uno at all.
Idiots. idiots. I
You gotta-
got so
you
angry with that one time. I literally tweeted at Uno, and they
Uno-
tweeted me back.
Uno is a game of honor and respect, and everyone playing, you got to take your hat off to anyone who plays evenly. But if you play that fucking
There's
rule,
no respect. There's no respect. Respect goes out the fucking window as soon as that first draw 4 is played.
Go suck a lemon if you do that. I'm not playing Uno with you. Shove your cards somewhere where the sun doesn't shine.
I agree with that. Thank you, Lachlan. Thank you. Fuck Uno.
Anyway, go on with your little argy-bargy, really...
Yeah, what else am I missing here, boys? I just feel like I'm missing...
I feel like you've covered some things that, like, are very annoying to you, but I think generally people would be like, it's a bit semantical. But, like,
Shit,
the things
this is the David annoying list.
Yeah. No. That's for me. That's beside the point. Like, absolutely, this is a completely subjective list.
Do you think you could break it? Do you reckon you could shorten it down and expand upon some of the more key elements that we think are more justified? Like, I think the Palmer thing is a thing that's been going on for many years. I think it's quite acceptable to have on the list because it does get on my nerves as well.
Yeah, no. Well, look, okay. Just between.
But this is the thing, Dave. You got to pick one Palmer annoyance. Either it's the
No. I don't have to pick one Palmer annoyance. Look, fuck off. I can pick both Palmer annoyances.
Just pick one Palmer annoyance. No, fuck that.
No, because okay, fair enough. If I had to pick one, it would absolutely be Palmer on top of the chips.
I just think you're cluttering it with breadcrumbs and chicken conversation.
No, I disagree.
It will fly that far.
I disagree because one is about culinary skill and the other one is about language.
Pronunciation, and I agree with you, John. But also, they're still about the topic of crumbed chicken.
Well, yeah, but like if crumb chicken is kind of a big part of your life, then yeah, absolutely, that's going to be a thing. I mean, but for me, realistically, what I want Dave to do is to kind of really refine this list because it looks like he's just thrown a bunch of stuff in there just to like pad out a list for its own sake, and I disagree with that because I know Dave can do better. Is all I'm saying.
Fuck off.
You know, were you talking? Yes, you can.
These things piss me off. Granted, they don't piss me off equally as other ones might.
Okay. See now that's the pertinent point there. Things that piss you off. This is a list of things you hate. Okay, something that pisses you off and things that you hate.
Yeah, I mean, when you listen back to the audio, you'll see that I use 3 terms interchangeably. I said also it's a list that what makes you angry.
Well,
these things make me angry.
You started off as saying this was a hate list. So
yeah, I've dubbed it as a hate list, but I'm willing to put just quotation marks on hate. Granted, you're right, John. Hate is a strong word. I don't hate anything really, but this is an angry list. These are things that I look at and I just go about.
And this is Lachlan from the commentary booth just saying that David's caught in a verbal audible on his decision.
So this is where because that completely changes the ball game, right? Saying it's going from a hate list to a things that make Dave angry list, then absolutely everything on this list I agree with. Like in fact, I would say you should put me on the things that make Dave angry list because I've pushed your buttons quite a few times. I know where your buttons are. I do that. In fact, I'd also argue you should put your dad on there as well, like for things that make Dave angry. Because I mean, that guy. I mean, your dad's slamming that button like a mouse slamming a button for a food pellet. Like he
knows my buttons, that motherfucker.
So that's what I'm saying. Yeah, absolutely. I feel like if anything, we should expand an angry list, but a hate list needs to be severely refined.
I agree with that. It's hate in quotations, but the question initially was what makes you angry. So this is essentially the angry David list. And I feel like I'm missing some key points here.
Absolutely, but I got one more question. I feel like this is a really important question because it's literally going to determine if I cut out the first 10 minutes of the podcast or not. The final question is, do you really want this list publicly out there? And let me explain why. Because what you've actually said is, here are all of my buttons. Here is a list of all of my buttons. Here they all are. Right? So anybody that
I want people to know this, especially Uno. I could not be more vocal about my points on Uno.
Okay, so for you, it's a dominance thing. It's sort of like, I know where my buttons are. You know, like we all know where my buttons are. It's kind of like Eminem, at the rap concert in 8 Mile being like, yes, I live in a trailer park. Like, yeah, I do.
Agree with that logic.
Okay.
Right? Expose the things that anger you and then let yourself build up a natural arm to that.
Okay. All right. Cool. No. All right. Sweet. All right. Cool. Well, then that's it. Good. Bang. Boom. All right. We got a really solid bit of content there. And with that, welcome to Pint Party, a podcast designed to turn a beer and a chat into a tax write-off. I'm your host, John McLeish. And joining me this week is the other contingent of the Bant boys themselves, David Young and Lochie Beazleigh. Boys, welcome.
Great content. Great content.
Hello. How are you?
Welcome back, Locke. I fucking missed you.
Sorry, I took a little bit of sabbatical for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, dude. No, that's what happens with the world, man. It's just like you just gotta the world is.
But just to PD everybody, I've been taking a few weeks off because I bloody graduated.
Hey, yeah, you did. Congratulations.
Got to put my big boy pants on.
Yeah, dude. So what's your degree in?
So now I have 2 degrees in media communications and business. It's funny that I actually have a communication and communication.
Oh,
See?
shit.
Already doing great start using my degree to a flyer.
Well, there's a flex. There's a flex. You don't just have 1 degree, you've got 2.
I do. I got a degree in talking shit and a degree in trying to explain how that shit can be turned into money. So we'll see how we go.
Oh, dude, that's a bigger flex. That's a big flex because like I've only got 1 on my wall and you're gonna have 2. By the way, here's the real question though. Here's the real question. And because obviously like you haven't gone for your ceremony yet and all of that stuff, right?
Yeah, no, not at all.
Yeah, you haven't physically got the bit of paper yet.
No,
yeah.
it's all been a little bit of a hush-hush on the whole situation.
Oh, yeah. But here's the thing, right? When you do, because this is a question I literally didn't think about until like the day itself when I got the thing, and that is framing. Like, how are you going to display these? Like, do you want to have 2, like, especially because you've got 2 degrees. Like, I had 1 degree. It was really easy. It was just sort of like we had to just pick a frame and that was it. But like...
I might get like a longer, like a wooden frame, and then get a jewel for the both of them.
Right. So that's my question. Do you want to have the 1 big frame with the both in it, or do you want to have 2 smaller frames, and that way you've got a little bit more kind of creative play with your positioning?
I'm doing the smaller ones because I've got one already, and I'm just about to get my postgraduate soon. So I'm just gonna get 2 small frames, put them side by side.
Or do I just get a cabinet and just like display it, like just put it on like a little...
That's my goal. That's my end goal, is to have an achievement cabinet.
These are the questions they don't tell you about at university. These are the conversations they don't have with you anymore.
I'm surprised someone didn't have an after-school seminar at like 8:30 at night in like some real random ass TAFE building.
They used to. My dad was30 my this, like 30 oh crap, when did he get his degree? In the mid 70s. When he got at the end of his degree, they had one of those. Everybody piled into a big lecture theater and the lecturers were like, "All right, here's the skinny on like graduation. And here's the things you should be thinking about."
I feel like usually they have like the ability to go into university and have those conversations with people, but with COVID now, I feel like they more expect you to email them if you have any questions. Like I only got 2 emails about the whole situation. Like my graduation is meant to be next week.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I graduated before the apocalypse, and, like, even then we never had that conversation. It was literally, like I said, I was on the day out the front of the graduation hall being like, "Oh, yeah, got to frame the thing, don't I? Oh, how do I do that?" And, I mean, and that's the thing. There's obviously salespeople there who are going to, like, mosey on up to you, just like a car salesman, and be like, "Hi, come on over here and get some frames. Oh, yeah." Like, they're going to try and seduce you, and that's what I'm saying. You might want to have a think about it beforehand.
I kind of just want to slip it into a drawer and forget about it, to be honest. But we'll see. I'll definitely probably... Like, I like David's idea of the cabinet. But I reckon for now, I'll probably just get them framed. I'll probably give them to my family, and they'll go, "We will present these correctly." And then I'll just have them again framed.
See, now that's you putting your business degree right into good use. You're outsourcing the problem. That's fantastic. There you go.
Don't worry about that. Less things on my mind.
There you go. Oh my God.
Focus on the more important things.
That's right. Yeah. Let's do that. Let's do that right now. Let's focus on the more important things. Now,
but I feel like John, I feel like those conversations, the whole like, "Oh, what am I going to do with my business degree? Where am I going to display these kind of awards that we are given for our hard work?" Are these conversations that you have down at the golf club?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, they are conversations you do have down at the golf club, but they're also, I mean, they're conversations that really need to be had as well. Like I feel like society doesn't put enough emphasis on these conversations. And that's an unfortunate reality. Like and you're absolutely right. Like the golf club is kind of like one of the last places you can go and have a civilized conversation, not unlike the agoras of ancient Greece.
Well, that's exactly right. It's all about relaxation. It's just you and the turf, and you and the ball.
Yeah.
And just like Bill Murray says, see the ball, au revoir, ball. He hits it.
Yeah, absolutely. So Lochie, this was something you came in keen as being. You were like, boys, this is something I want to talk about, something I want to get going. You really wanted to talk about kind of the significance of kind of an undervalued person on the links.
Yes. So when you think, like, obviously, you think of golf as just like a one-player sport. It's just you out there. You might have a couple of mates with you if it's just a local game. And you'll play just a casual 9, or you might play a very heavy 18. Depends on how your day's feel. But I don't think it's society as a whole. We don't really consider the caddy as much of respect to the game, or as a tool of the game, actually.
It's a cornerstone of the game.
Well, this is the thing. The relationship between the golfer and the caddy is a very protected thing, you know. It's very hush hush. You got to be. There's a lot of trust involved that you're getting good advice from your caddy.
Like walk me through it, because I've never sort of experienced a caddy before. My understanding of a caddy really is just like they'll be like, yeah, use the 9-iron, mate, and that's it.
Well, I must say, John, it all starts off, I think, as a little child playing in the mini golf course, and then your parent goes, "Oh, maybe if you just hit it a little softer, son." Or a little bit to the left, make it curve. I think that's when the real the golf and the caddy relationship really starts to blossom. Is when you understand that the caddy doesn't just have to be a stranger. It is a figure that you trust in. And this can be a stranger, or it can be someone that you do care and love. I think that's the great thing about a caddy.
But can it be a complete stranger, or is it or is an unknown caddy just a friend you haven't met?
Well, I'm sure on the PGA Tour there are people who just hire out caddies on the day.
Yeah, I suppose. But like, are they getting the performance out of it?
Well, that's what I'm saying. In that situation, are you just relying on yourself as a golfer, and then just saying, "I've got to have a caddy here. He might. I reckon you should use a wood or a 6-iron here." But I think apart from that, maybe you just trust your natural instinct. But if you have someone that you've put your full trust into, that you've worked with, like a coach, this is the thing: is a caddy a coach, or is it just a life coach in general? Is these kind of questions, just come to me in the dead of night?
I mean, my first thought for that question is ¿por qué no las dos? Like, why can't a coach be both? And really, in any code, I mean, we've made many
exactly,
films.
John, why can't I have both?
Yeah,
but this is the thing. It's like, it's all well and good if you're on the course. If you're on the green and you're on the fairway, you're doing great. You don't really have to listen to your caddy. It's in those crunch time moments, John, that the caddy really comes into play, when the wind's shifted and you're stuck in the trees or in a bunker. Oh, those blasted bunkers.
Yeah. You got the bunker there, and you're trying to get out of it. And of course, you're in the really perilous spot on the 17th hole, and it's a par 4, and you're you're 2 shots deep, and that on the other side of that bunker is a water hazard. And
well, if you're on the 17th hole and you're down 2 strokes, you are kicking yourself right now. This is game time.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. And but it's also where you need the most focus. You need to summon every inch of your abilities.
And that's
moment.
what I think, like, real great caddies like Steve Williams, who was Tiger's caddy late in his later career. He was the guy, I reckon, he was able to, okay, Tiger, just take a minute, poise yourself. This is the shot. You've got this 100 times. Hit it. And just like Tiger would normally do, even when he came back after his little mishaps, and he came back and enjoyed the PGA again. I'm sure he was looking a little rough for a while, but then he came good. And I'm sure that all that poise came from the caddy himself.
Well, do you reckon it was Tiger's caddy that got him through the quote unquote rough patch? I don't see it as a rough patch. I never understood why.
Well, this is the thing. I'm sure he had a conversation with his caddy, John. Like,
yeah.
If he's putting his trust on the course, why wouldn't he put his trust with his knowledge on the course of life?
Yeah.
But yeah, there's not much advice in those real rough cut situations. There's not much advice you can give when your golfer's trying to make a standing shot in a tree.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's it. And that's the other point. It's sort of like you've got to be prepared to give advice anywhere at any time. And like, yeah, we've talked about it off the course, but on the course, it's just as critical. Like how do you, but, and the thing is like as a caddy as well, like you're not going to know from the outset that somebody's going to have to make a shot out of a tree. Like, how do you prepare for that?
Well, you know, I think it depends on the day you arrive on the green.
Well,
when you stand there at the start of the fairway, and you got to tip off, you know.
Yeah. No, it's a tricky situation.
David, how do you feel about golf? Where do you stand?
Oh, I was just really, really interested listening to you guys talk about it. It's just really, 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 really invigorating. No, I think look when I think of a caddy, I think the Scottie Pippen to my Michael Jordan. Right? It's essentially that dynamic right there. Because a great caddy, it's that moral support. Obviously, they carry a lot of the physical stuff that you're not meant to be doing because obviously your game is golf, right? They're not playing golf with you. You're the golfer there. So they're carrying your bags. They're washing your clubs after you hit the balls. They're giving you line of sight. They're keeping track of your ball. They're your Scottie Pippen, right? They do all the kind of like the dirty work, right? Well, you're out there and you're the main guy. Everyone's watching you, right? But you got every Jordan needs a Scottie, right? But no, I completely agree with your point. Like the caddy is like, it's one of those things where you watch golf and you see the bloke there.
Well, you just grow up being like, I want to be a caddy. Like, I don't think anyone really has had that thought unless you're like live like life is golf.
I feel like the perfect caddy is an ex-golfer, but a golfer that never really could have like aimed for the heights. So they're just like, you know what, like. This Tiger Woods, this Michael Jordan, he needs his support. If he didn't have me, could he have been him? Probably not. We don't know, right? But that's the beauty of the caddy.
Well, honestly, I think if they want to elevate the sport in general, they should mic up the caddy.
They should. There should be more emphasis on the banter.
Wait, they don't do that already?
They have like boom, like they have like mics like pointed out on. Talking, but they don't.
They barely even mic up the golfers, though.
This is what I'm saying. Do you know what? Yeah. There's no like personal like audio coming from the actual golfer and his caddy at all.
Wait, so how do they do it in other sporting matches? Because I know that like you know.
But you got to think about the presentation of other sporting matches. There's a more obvious competition happening in other sporting matches because they happen on the same field, almost next to each other. Whereas golf doesn't necessarily take place right next to each other. It's a guy goes first, has his swing, the swing goes 90 yards, you're tracking that ball. The two golfers aren't necessarily next to each other or like head on head.
Every
other sport is like that. So a presentation is easy there.
Well, no, but I'm just thinking about it from a technical standpoint, and that is like there's no way that like, you know, you're going to get an AFL player to wear a lapel mic. That's just never going to happen. So then how are they picking up...
It's done in cricket, though. Like, it's been seen...
Is it really?
Yeah, it's
done in basketball too.
2020 series. It's all been done, John.
It's all been done. You can mic up.
Come a long way.
You can mic up athletes. They do it in basketball.
So wait, so you're saying like pro basketball players are like subjecting themselves to extra weight and bulk for
there's something they have. They have like some very small lapel or something, or within the fabric within the jersey. That might be remote. They're not carrying around a fucking hard pack on their back doing all that kind of stuff. But they're mic'd up. There's a whole series on NBA TV that's just mic'd up ballers. And you're hearing LeBron James just go, yeah, good shit. Good shit. All right, up and down. All right, yeah. Oh, good stuff. Nice three-pointer. Like you're hearing all that kind of stuff.
Huh. Dude, sports technology.
Especially now when like there's not enough audio coming from the crowd.
Yeah.
There is none. So
yeah, it's way more critical.
Fill in the audio space. Got a lot of real estate now.
Yeah. The production's there. It's just that I don't think many sports outside of the American ones are doing it. So, like, to your point, John, AFL, I would love because when I'm thinking of the golfy caddy relationship, I'm thinking of sledging, right? I'm thinking of I want to get in on that banter that we get from cricket because cricket is so known for sledging. AFL so known for sledging. Right, where they just rip into their boys, and it's just like they have their own lingo, right? And you want to hear that lingo and see, like, oh, how are they ripping into the opposition, right? What kind of funny or gimmicky of banter are they using within their own terminology? Well, I would love that from golf.
Okay, so but here's the thing, right? Then we have to consider the Heisenberg principle. Would miking up the players though affect that banter? Because then they know. like, obviously you'd train them and say, hey, you've got a microphone on you. Like, if you're going to be out there, and especially, like, we've heard some of the accusations about, like, some cricketers can just say some super bad stuff, right? Super, like, racist shit. And it's sort of like, okay, but and obviously whatever gets said that causes the punch-ons on the AFL field, if that's then recorded, it makes things a little bit more difficult for all across the league. Like, it makes it difficult to, say, defend the player when they get hauled up before the tribunal. Like, it makes it more difficult to get membership sign-ups because they go, well, do we really want to support a team with this player on it? Like, you know what I mean? Like, would it hinder the sledging? Would it hinder the banter?
Yes and no. Yes and no. You're not wrong in applying the uncertainty principle, the Heisenberg principle, right? But the whole idea, like, sledging is, it's very Australian, right? Like, obviously it exists in sports across the world, but, like, in Australia, we, at a local level at least, like, try and emphasize the sledge more, right? It's at least definitely at a local level. Like, I've played local footy. I haven't really played local cricket, but definitely like local footy. Like, your coach will slap it on the arm, just be honestly, like,
nothing is more more shocking and more terrifying than, like, lining up for a goal at 50-yard line, and then all you're hearing is from people on your team going, oh, $50 that Lochie's going to just kick it high in the air.
That's the brilliance of it, though, right? And it happens in basketball. There's one fucking brilliant moment where Michael Jordan stares down on a free throw, right? And some guy's just like, bet you won't make it with your fucking eyes closed, right? And Michael's just like, okay, bet. Closes his fucking eyes, shoots the free throw, sinks it, right? So sledging exists, and all that's like a form of sledging, but it's not as advanced as, like, the ones you get in cricket, right? The ones you get in AFL, because, like, we are attuned at a local level of footy where everyone starts. You're told. You're not told, but it's like, it's a part of the culture to just go out there and just, like, rip into the boy. Like, it's a part of the game. It's the psychological head game that comes into play on top of the physical head game that you're playing there. Because you're like 150 meters out. Whilst you're worrying about the shot, you're worrying about where the fucking wind's going. You're also overhearing the opposition just go, if he misses this, dumb leg, man. Fucking, what an absolute baboon, right? They're throwing shit like that, obviously more advanced, right? But it's that lingo, and I would love to hear that lingo in golf, right? I'd love to just have that golfer and caddy relationship, and they've hit a really nice shot, and then he turns to the caddy and it's just like, oh yeah, let's see if fucking Tiger get that one up and over, yeah, fucking 2 meters out, fucking absolutely whiffs it.
You'll never make this putt, you jet.
Because that's the one sport where it's like, because it's a differently presented competition, I imagine its sledging must also be different, but you don't hear it, right? Because it's a gentleman's sport, right? It falls into a gentleman's sport at the end of the day.
I think it's one of those.
I don't think it is personally. I don't think it is personally, because I know some golfers.
There's so much argy-bargy that happens.
There is. That's what I'm saying. But the ones you see on the television, man, the ones you watch on ESPN, yeah, they get hyped, but it's still presented gentlemanly.
Like, David, I'm saying, like, especially at a local level, it is all about course etiquette. It has nothing to do with the game.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. This is where it might be escaping, like, you, John. It's like you're trying to wrap your head around, like, does it really even happen? Like, yeah, it does. Because at the local level where everything starts, yeah, you watch the AFL and it's a more professionally presented piece of media, obviously. But we all started in the local level, right? And it's not about the game at the local level. It's the psychology, right?
Yeah.
It's the sledging. Yeah. So it definitely exists in golf. So that's why I'd love to have the mic up. And, like, they would slip at times. Basketball slip too. They're obviously media trained to not swear, right? Because you're going to be on NBA TV. But you can't help it in the heat of competition, right? It's primordial aspects of your brain kick in at that point.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, would that then affect which players get picked to call up onto the team? Because if you know a guy can't control it, then that's because at this point, like, I mean, at a local level, what's on the line? You know what I mean? It's pride. But at a level of, like, when you step up to the big leagues, there are millions of dollars on that. I mean, wasn't it some NFL player just got a fucking $1 billion deal or some shit? Like, he's going to get paid.
Patrick Mahomes. Credit to him. Fucking yeah, right. Absolutely earned it.
Right, $1 billion deal. So over 10 years, he's going to get paid $1 billion fucking dollars to throw a bit of pigskin around. Like, Jesus Christ. He is, like, I mean, would he have been able to score that deal, Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe because the NFL, you said they do have microphones on them and stuff, so maybe it's a bit different. But like, okay, but let's say he was an equally as skilled player. Let's clone him for a second. Let's clone Patrick for a second, and we're just going to tweak some of his stats. All of his NFL playing stats are going to be there. Everything that justifies the $1 billion in terms of gameplay are all there. But let's give him a potty mouth. Is he going to get $1 billion deal?
Let's use AFL because let's do something a little bit more homegrown that we know.
Okay.
Right? Let's. I don't know who the highest played player is, but I know who probably is the best player right now based on the fact that they just won a premiership. You'd say it's Dustin Martin, would you not, Lachlan? You'd say one of the most highly sought people because he's currently a champion.
He's currently
Richmond. Richmond aren't great right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's a great player on a team that isn't really functioning.
Yeah, exactly. But right now, we give respect to the champion. They're the holding champion right now, so you'd have to say they can be deadly, right? So Dustin Martin is the best player on what was the best team last year when the game was at its best. Right now, it's a fucking shell of a game. You got to admit that, right? So let's just go with that. Let's use him as an example. Dustin Martin is notoriously fucking an absolute rebel and fucking absolute lad out of the field. He left his fucking car at the MCG after winning the grand final last year because he dipped to Vegas and just partied for 2 weeks. And his car was just racking up tickets, right? But eventually they were just like, fuck it, we'll handle it, right? That's Dustin Martin. That's our best player. We don't care, right? We know who Dusty is. And he's the best player on the championship winning team, earning the most money there. Despite the fact that it's obviously very known to us that he's Dustin Martin, right? He's a bit of a cheeky lad, but we get around it. That's our culture. So whilst that's local here, I don't know whether it plays off the same in like NFL or NBA, but I imagine it doesn't fucking matter too much unless it's like their public image has been affected by it. So someone like LeBron James, if he were to go out drinking and then a video of him surfaced of him getting drunk, sloshed on the side of the road.
So Jeremy Cameron is the most paid player in the
So is he the most paid player in the NFL right now?
So in 2015, he signed that was a 1.55 mil.
Yeah. Right, what I'm saying is, John, is yes, if we cloned Patrick Mahomes and said, all right, now he's like a notorious potty mouth, swears, cusses, all that kind of stuff, and I'm going to benefit of the doubt and say we're factoring out, abuse, right? Because obviously we toe the line. I think any code, doesn't matter if it's abuse, all right? We're looking at it and we're going, yeah, Dusty Martin's a bit of a cheeky lad. He's not doing anything illegal, though. Right? He's not abusing people. He's not racist. He's not attacking people's families. He's not doing any of that kind of stuff. He's just a notoriously like over-the-top lad and a sledger. That's a part of the game. It's a part of the game, whether or not it's mic'd up or not. I can guarantee you that on the offensive line and defensive lines in the NFL, when they're playing a game, when they're head-to-head, I can guarantee you that if they were mic'd up, you would be hearing shit like, you fat motherfucker, you ain't going to push past me, right? Like you're going to hear that.
But would it make it out into the broadcast? That's what I'm saying. Like,
because even when we watch back on NBA doing mic'd up, they don't show it. You're not hearing it live.
Yeah,
no, it's been.
You're not hearing it play by play. You're not hearing LeBron on the field.
Yeah,
right. But they'll do like 20 minutes worth of gameplay, and they'll go, "All right, we got a mic'd up from LeBron earlier in the game. You had enough time there to dump and like bleep out fucks and shits and all that kind of stuff." But what the beauty of the mic up is one, they're assessing energy. So when I watch sport, I love to, obviously you like to see the energy on the field, but then I want to see that energy in their, like how they vocalize, right? So, LeBron comes, I'm just going to use LeBron as an example because he's the GOAT, right? So LeBron comes down the field, Kyle Kuzma's just hit a three-pointer, LeBron being the team leader, right, and the captain of the team, you want to hear him do captainly things. So you want to say, all right, and then you see him come down the field, and then he's just like, all right, Kuz, that was a brilliant shot. That, to me, is why, like, mic'd up is so great. And then, obviously, you can do the other kind of stuff in mic'd up, where it's like they've had, Chris Paul try and enter into other team huddles, right, and listening to their play-by-play, right? And you've been like, you can hear all that kind of, like, play-by-play stuff happening. You can also hear the mic'd up when it comes to, like, all right, I want to see the code words that ballers use, right, in order to kind of call out plays. So you're going to hear that kind of mic'd up, and it's more or less for us and obvious kind of stuff too. So even if the opposition heard it, they were like, "Oh, that's obvious. We knew when LeBron shouted like twinkle toes, he meant fucking zone positioning, right? Like some shit like that." They're not going to fucking deliberately cuck the player and show a mic'd up of LeBron going, "Kyle Kuzma, you fat piece of shit, get out of my face!" Like, go back to the locker room. Like you're goddamn useless. I don't want you on
Because
my
that's
team.
bad representation of the team.
Bad representation of the team, bad representation of the sport. Like they're not going to do that.
That was my concern. That was my primary concern. Was sort of like if stuff like that went down and it got broadcast out, that'd bring the game into disrepute. And like I feel like the league wouldn't have it. Yeah. And so that
league records it. League won't show it.
Whereas like the only sport that I reckon really celebrates and heralds sledging is probably cricket.
Yeah, cricket is like you go to
Sporting News have literally put up a article about 10 best sledges of all cricket.
So
and like majority of them are like Aussie.
That's what I mean. So do you reckon cricket would do it a bit different to the NBA? Because you're saying the NBA, like, they record it, but they don't broadcast it live. They record it and then edit it and then show it after the fact. Do you reckon cricket would just run it straight?
I reckon they should. If they don't, they should. Because the beauty of cricket, I'm vocal about this. I don't like cricket, right? I don't watch it I don't watch it as like entertainment. But I want to go to a cricket game because I want to go, one, for the atmosphere, right? Apparently it's an absolute fucking piss up atmosphere. Oh yeah. And then two, I just want to see the banter. Like I want to be able to see the guys on the outer field link up, stand side by side, arms on their hips, and you can just tell that they're just fucking ripping into each other. Right, because that's the sport. They're just ripping into each other. It's just like, hey, nice one, man. I saw you running back up the field. You got a bit of a bunk leg. What happened last time? You're down on your knees, down on your knees, were you, mate? Yeah, down in the toilets, were you? So shit like that. That's what we're getting from this sport. That's sledging.
Just as a bit of an example, Eno Brandes versus Glenn McGrath. After Zimbabwean, Brandes played and missed a Glenn McGrath delivery. The towering Aussie, quick and quiet. Oi, Brandes, why are you so fat? The immediacy of Brandes' reply had Ricky Ponting and Michael stitches in the slips. Because every time I sleep with your wife, she gives me a biscuit.
Bang! Sledge. See? It's that. That's the sledge. And I want to know who has that.
Oh my god! So see that,
and you can't avoid that, John. That's what I'm getting at. No matter what sport it is, obviously they're more professional, but they're mic'd up, but they're not going to show that. But they're 100% saying that because that's just you're at a local level. That's the culture.
It's just
that's
primal, bro.
That's the game. You got to get
primal and its competitive nature. It's just like
you're not avoiding it. It
happens kicking in. You can't control your mouth when your adrenaline and your heart rate's kicking in.
Yeah. Well, but do you think it
changes?
changes?
The league isn't going to hold it against you unless it's abuse,
right?
Unless it's like you're an actual bad person because sledging. And this is why we should emphasize it. The reason we say it's sledging and
it's not malicious
is because there's no malice, right? Like that. It's just a good clapback. Why are you so fat? Oh, I was sleeping with your fucking wife, right? There's no malice. He's not actually sleeping. Well, he might be, but he's not actually sleeping with his wife. Right?
You know,
right? See, and there's obviously unspoken rules. Don't go for parents. Right, kind of all that kind of stuff. Don't go for like the obvious on the nose ones. But sledging is I'm just gonna go at you like that. You're fat. You got a shit knee, right? Why are you playing so bad? You're snorting up the shit, like all that kind of stuff. It happens in every sport. But golf is the one that's eluded us because
the relationship. That's the thing. The relationship between the caddy and the golfer just hasn't been explored fully yet. Like there's little moments. I enjoyed the moments quite wonderfully. But I really want to see the whole. Like, I just think it can elevate the entire game. The way it's presented.
Get it mic'd up and just show like a bit of more personality between the.
Maybe they have a beer or like the 18th hole, you know. Maybe the caddy just goes over the buggy and just pulls out 2 cans. He's just like, "Here you go, mate."
Yeah, that's true. Like, it would certainly make for a more entertaining kind of package. Like,
could you just imagine the commentators just been like, "Oh, what's this? What's this? Oh, Jeremy and Clarkson are having a keg on hole 16. Look at this, a surprising turn of events as they know the wind shifts is coming in." And they know
we're going to cross over to Tiger on the 18th, just sipping a beer as he waits for his opponent on hole 16. Tiger, over to you. And it's just him just chatting with his caddy. And it's just like mic'd up session. It's just like, God, it'd be nice if I can continue the game. Right? And fucking taking his time over there. I love more of that.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with it.
Especially when like generally it's a leisurely game. And I think you need to add a little bit more to that to like presenting it.
Like, I haven't played a game of golf, but I know golfers, right?
But you've been to the driving range, bro.
Yeah, I have. I go to the driving range. Yeah, I get a sense for how, like, but there's a difference between the driving range and then playing holes, a couple of holes, right? So I know people who play, and it's exactly that. You know, especially not if you're not a pro, where you're able to kind of like pretty accurately get it to the green or at least get around there. So you're actually playing a quicker pace game. Whereas these ones, you play 9 holes. Some people who aren't great or who are like amateur level, it'll take you about 4 or 5 hours, right? It's a lot of like going around the caddy, walking around with your bag, kind of seeing where your ball is. So you're obviously having those chats. It's it's getting into the head of your opposition because you're obviously walking together, going to get your balls and all that kind of stuff. I want more of that. It exists in the sport. It does exist in the sport, but I want to see it at the PGA level.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've pretty thoroughly kind of explored kind of like.
I think we've drained a lot of drops from that run.
We did. I think we've thoroughly mined this vein. I'm just trying to think about like. I mean, we went on a bit of a journey here, kind of like saying we want to see more of the relationship. We want to explore the relationship between golfer and caddy. And it kind of morphed into we want to explore the relationships between players on the field, and like let's mic them up and see that more often. So yeah, I think we've kind of thought. But okay, here's the thing, right? It really feels like, Lochie, it really feels like what you've pitched is a television show. Like you could just you could make a fiction sort of drama centered around the lives of golfers and their caddies.
Bloody, I'm just trying to think of a title.
Oh, okay. Let's title this. Here we go. All right, Dave.
Hole in one, like a hole in two, like it's.
Well, I was thinking like chipping from the rough.
I feel like it's got to be more. It's got to be more succinct. You know what I mean? Like
the birdie boys, right? They only get birdies.
Yeah, but see, that's too comedy. Like I'm feeling like this is much more like
drama.
What
fucking vibe are we going for? I mean,
this is the next Netflix documentary. This is the next Last Chance You, bro.
No. I'm more leaning more towards kind of like leaning more towards sort of like kind of like Grey's Anatomy or The West Wing. You know what I mean? Where it's like the focus is on drama.
No, that's too.
You gotta
keep the sport the main, the front. And then the drama just develops in the background. That's the beauty of the thing. That's why, Ricky, if you shoot it like Last Chance You, or like there was one about cheerleaders that just came out on that.
Maybe you follow the lives of twin golfers, right? They're a set of twins, and like they interchange between golfer and caddy, right? And sometimes you can't really tell, so you just follow the comedic life of the birdie boys.
Okay, so you want to make a comedy more like Caddyshack and not a hard drama.
Yeah, it's a comedy that has its serious elements, all right? Because it's
John Daly. John Daly is he was like the wild child of golfing scene, and now his son is playing the PGA now as well.
And is he just as bonkers?
And he's just as good, dude. He's got a mullet.
Okay, yeah, good moment.
And he just like his dad, he wears like American flag golfing shorts on the field, and like John Daly used to drink beers, smash cans on the court and stuff. Just be wild.
Okay, so I think we're getting confused because I was pitching like a fictitious television show, but it seems like you guys want to go more towards reality television. You want to look at an actual golfer and an actual caddy and make a reality show out of that.
You just gotta show it.
You could present a fictional story through the prism of actual golf.
It's got a mockumentary.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
But you could oversaturate the mockumentary and exaggerate it, but I think it would be better to let it play out. If you just let it's just either snippets or it's like a camera crew following situation. I think that would work very well.
Yeah. That's. I mean, that's certainly an interesting pitch right there. And then I guess we'd have to, there's how you name it, because that's what I mean. Like, it seems like the way how you name it really kind of determines kind of the direction of the whole thing. Usually, I mean, what's in a name really? I mean, a name should be succinct and should tell you everything you want to know. But it seems like the importance of the name of this show that we've kind of just pitched is sort of like way more important, because it really does seem to determine the course of the whole thing. But maybe that's all television shows. Maybe I'm just here learning in the moment in screenwriting. But before we
determine the course.
Oh, hey, that's a good name for the show. Determine the course. Maybe the course.
I'm surprised. I don't know if it exists, and if I had all the money in the world, I would totally produce one, because they've done it for AFL, where they've all right, find the next AFL superstar. They've done it for the UFC, where they found the next fighter. Surely, if you had determined the course, you'd be looking for the next PGA, undiscovered gem, right? It's just you have like a 10-week like obstacle course kind of series of challenges, and you get eliminated each week, and you follow the personal lives of these golfers trying to fight for that one spot at that PGA level tour.
Dude, the only way to pull that off would be to do like an Ultimate Ninja Warrior type of what's that thing the Rock's doing right now? That one of them.
Yeah, Titan Games.
Like that's the only way you'd have to do it. Like, because golf is known as the boring sport to watch. You know what I mean? Like, you couldn't play it straight.
Change.
That's what I'm saying. That's my point. You could not play it straight. You could not be like, we're going to assess golfers on just their ability to smack a ball. It's just that would be boring as shit to watch.
Of course,
you would have to
like
go
trick shots, right?
Yeah.
You hit a melon. Like there's so much potential for gimmicks.
That's what I mean. Like, you'd have to do it like that. You'd have to lean into the gimmickness of that in order to make that kind of a viable show. But like, all right, I'll tell you what. Let's move on from now. I think we've pretty thoroughly put some solid ideas, some solid thoughts into the universe. Maybe one of those will reach the mind of a screenwriter who will have a dream one night and be like, yes, I must make the ultimate golf television show. But let's move on from there and let's talk about something that's kind of, I feel like important to everybody's lives, and that is trying to get your bone on while not getting sick. And this was something I found on Twitter just out of the blue. I can't believe this is a thing. I want to read you a quote from the Canadian government. This is a Canadian government website called the BC Centre for Disease Control. Sorry, the British Columbia Centre for Disease Control, which is their health department for a state. Now, they've got a whole bunch of stuff here relating to COVID-19 and sex, and like the safe way to have sex while you don't want to get sick. And there's a whole bunch of stuff on here, but my personal favorite, I really want to like emphasize this is no shit a thing in there. One of their recommendations, this is a government recommendation, is to use barriers like walls, for example, glory holes, that allow for sexual contact but prevent close face-to-face contact. The Canadian government is advocating glory holes for sex. How do we feel about that? Are we pro glory hole or anti glory hole?
I'm always pro glory hole.
You're pro glory hole.
I'm always pro glory hole.
I'm anti glory hole.
You're anti glory hole. Okay, here we
go.
Now we got a debate going. Okay, well I'll tell you what. Okay. Hang on. Okay, so before we launch off into some nuttiness here, okay, I'm gonna moderate this right now. I'm gonna hold no opinion. I'm gonna moderate. All right. So
we have the affirmative and we have the negative.
Yeah, I'm literally gonna flip a coin. Hang on, because you can just do this on Google. You can just type in flip a coin. Okay, so before I do, who's going to be heads and who's going to be tails?
David,
fucking metaphor.
Well, who goes? This is determine who goes first. Who gets to make their opening statement?
Oh, tails. Whatever.
You're going to go tails? Okay, so we flip a coin. It's flipping. It's tails. So, David, make your opening remarks. Why are you...
Good, I'm going to think about this.
Okay.
Damn it. I was actually kind of hoping I'd go second.
I've got no preps. So
I'll be lawyery about it, and I'll define my criteria first, okay? And I'll set the pace of the game. All right, I'm going to use game theory. All right, for starters, the reason why I'm very pro-glory hole is because I'm a big believer in, just why not, right, when it comes to this? Why not? Now, when we're talking about glory holes, we're talking about, are we considering the wide breadth of where glory holes can appear? So public bathrooms, in clubs, in restaurants, and then to the obviously more legal extreme, the more legal end, certified brothels and actual established licenses and like places with licenses that can do sex and all that kind of stuff, right? That's at the more legal end, and then you have just public bathrooms, right, at the other end, right? Now I'm saying glory holes is a great gimmick at that more legal end. Now, the public bathroom end, I don't give a shit if there's a fucking hole in my toilet stall where it's like on the other side is the female bathrooms and then on my side is the male bathrooms, right? And it's more like a small little hole, right? I think it is your own prerogative to stick your dick in there, right? I'm not saying that I'm saying
I'm shaking my head. All I'm doing is shaking my head.
all I'm saying why I'm pro glory hole is because I just think you should have that option. I just think the option should just be there for you. I'm saying that I think it's wrong to just not even have that option. Because what if, like, so for some people, that area in particular, let's just throw pick a name out of the hat, Broadmeadows. Broadmeadows. Let's just say in that area, there's a notorious spot in a public area where it's just like there is a hole here, and on the other end, you are guaranteed a glory hole experience. Who's to say that you can't?
Okay,
That is all I'm saying.
So it seems like the position you're taking, David, is you're all about the like free market fucking.
There's nothing particularly. I mean, there obviously is legalities there, but you know, it's the public glory hole. Obviously, the police aren't really going to give a shit about it. It's the lowest thing on their spectrum when it comes to Broadmeadows. So power to you.
Well, but it doesn't have to be a public glory hole. I mean, a glory hole can be a thing that you can set up in your own home with as simple as just a hole in a sheet.
But he's specified. He's been bringing. This is the thing, John. He's just been brought in public.
Yeah,
he's just talking about
that's
public
true.
right
That's
now.
true. But the focus of what the Canadian government's recommending doesn't actually clarify anything further.
Yeah, but
than...
what David is saying is that public glory holes are good.
Yes. Okay.
I've never said good or bad. I'm just saying the option should just be there. The option.
Well, no,
I'm
you're
pro
on the
the option.
affirmative. No,
I'm on
you're
the affirmative.
You're affirmative of glory holes, motherfucker.
I am affirmative of glory holes. Yes, it should be there. Are you going to use it? I don't know. That's up to you.
Glory holes in their entirety. This is not just one specific amina of glory holes. You're going to choose. You're going to have the entire pie here, my friend. You can't just have.
I have specified that the pie is at play. The pie is at play. I've defined a spectrum. Right, and I'm saying obviously at one end of the spectrum, the more like brothely end of the spectrum, where it's like part of the gimmick, right? It's a little package that you can buy, right? You can have the glory hole experience. Then obviously at that end, I'm very, very pro. Now at the other end, right? At the other end, where we have the more, you know, open in the public bathroom, accessible, all that kind of gimmick, I'm still pro glory hole. I'm pro having a hole there, right? Where it's just like,
put your civil liberties aside. Like I'm gonna I don't care about this. Like. Honestly, take your little civil liberty agenda, put it aside right now. Glory holes are gooey, icky, gross, and disgusting. And why the fuck should I see one when I'm trying to take a piss in a public bathroom?
Okay. So at this point, all right. At this point, then I feel like we've David's made his thorough opening statement. So it looks like Lochie, you're rearing to go. You've got yourself together. So Lochie, please make your position on glory holes.
That was my opening.
That was it. Oh, that was it. Okay, cool. So it's very succinct and to the point. Okay. They're gooey, icky, and there's something you don't want to see in a public place. Okay.
I'm not going to Miranda around my points with some fancy language like David will.
Okay, so you're going to be the plain-spoken advocate for...
This is a hard-hitting debate right now.
All right.
We really loosed the term on the hard-hitting there. You really came at me with very well thought out and concise. And
I just told you, I just got a degree in talking shit.
Well, I mean,
this is my degree at play here, Dave.
Mine was that too. I'm barely trying, buddy.
I mean, look, I think you've both made some interesting points. I mean, but I think Lochie is correct. This is a very hard subject. There's a lot of hard things about this subject that we got to focus on.
Buddy. In a glory hole, there's a lot of hard things.
Yeah, thanks, Dave. I was trying to be a little bit more highbrow with my humor there, but thanks for making the joke obvious. Thanks for highlighting the punchline.
That
could have been fun.
So they're recommending for civilians to be cutting holes in their walls to benefit their sex life.
Well, it doesn't necessarily have to be there has to be a wall. Like you're implying that a glory hole is only through a solid object, but it doesn't have to be.
It's got to be. But the idea of the glory hole is a sense of mystery, correct?
Well, yeah, but that sense of mystery can be maintained by using a thick curtain or a thick sheet that with a hole cut through it. It doesn't necessarily have to be a solid wall. It just needs to be something that obfuscates the user. Yeah, see, that's what I mean. There's more than one way to skin a cat here, mate, and that's what I'm saying. Like, it really the recommendation is to use a barrier.
But then it's not a traditional glory hole. Would you say not?
Well, that's true. Like, there is the traditional glory hole, but I mean, it's 2020. Like, fuck it.
Then all these pseudo-isms of glory holes are going to be coming about, and people. This is the thing. Is this going to escalate to them people sitting on the local train with just a curtain over their doodle, just being like, "It's a glory hole."
Could be.
It could, mate.
That's where the imagination takes you.
The real lesson we can walk away from this year is that literally anything can happen. I would not be surprised if I jumped on the train at 8 a.m. and I'm sitting there, you know what I mean, like tired and whatever, and then and two carriages down there, all I'm seeing is a white sheet and a donger coming out saying, "How you going?" That I would not be surprised.
As closing statement, I will just say,
all right,
I feel that glory holes take away from one of the key aspects of sensual behavior, which is the connectiveness between two people or groups of people, depending how you float. And the mystery, I feel like, creates a divide and a blocker that prevents you from fully maximizing your enjoyment through those experiences.
Right.
So therefore,
Very easy counter to that.
Okay. No, hold on, Dave. I'm going to let you hold off. Lochie, I want you to finish your thought.
give me a second. I'm making this up as I go. Shut up. What else? What was the shit of that?
Dude, I can literally hear the gears turning in your head because I can hear you flicking your pen, and I'm just like, oh shit, he's getting real about this. He's got the pen, he's clicking it back
David,
and
you want
forth.
to say so? I can't think of anything.
Well, two things. One, you're not wrong, but that's not the point of the debate, because obviously glory holes is another avenue to achieving a sexual outcome, right? Now, you're right. Obviously, it takes away from the intimacy.
I understand my whole.
Yeah, obviously it takes away from the intimacy,
argument.
Lachlan, but
Yeah,
that's
but also-
literally the point.
But it implies
Right?
a kinker behavior that
Yes,
is in
exactly.
other elements. I understand that, but
That's
also
the
you gotta
point.
understand that if they're trying to recommend that to everyone, you gotta understand that everyone does not suit that.
No shit.
So
No
then,
shit.
why are they recommending it as why are they recommending it as medical advice?
Oh, so I'm not following that line of logic with that discussion at all.
Well,
That's
then let's
not what
stick with
I've
your
said at
line
all.
of logic about public bathrooms. How
Yeah.
bathrooms should have.
And I'll reiterate exactly what I said.
Then who's going to
I'm
sanitize
pro-
that? Because I'm telling you
I'm
right.
pro glory hole
Be a glory
because of the
middle
option.
If there's not going to be a glory hole in the middle of a chuka that is sanitized and cleaned every single day, and I'm not going to let some little crackhead person, have some fun with me while I'm trying to clean myself on my way to a chuka and enjoy the beautiful river.
Okay.
No, thank you.
Okay, so it seems like we've got two pretty clearly defined positions now. So David is all about free market fucking, just letting the free market determine the best way to get yourself going with a glory hole, and Lochie is more on the side of regulation and letting and having a regulatory body that determines where and when glory holes can appear, and that they're licensed and therefore are subject to governmental standards of health and hygiene and public decency. Is this your positions? Am I getting these correct?
That was also my position too. I also said I established a spectrum, and I said at one end of the spectrum you have established licensed venues that can offer this, and it's obviously far more regulated, and then you just have the public bathroom at the other end.
Right. Okay. But that's what I'm saying. Like you're saying that like the free market can will be able to sort of like regulate itself, where Lochie is looking for more oversight.
I'm agreeing with Lochie on that point. Obviously, I'm more pro on the other end of the spectrum, mainly, but then on the public bathroom side, literally what my words were, I just said the option. I'm just saying you could have the option.
Okay.
There's a hole in the wall. There's a hole in the wall. Would you use it? I don't fucking care. But just I
I'm
like
just
to look at
telling
it
you,
and
more
I
often
just go,
or
that's
not,
interesting.
if you go to a place, a venue where they offer professional glory hole experiences, I'm telling you, when you walk in there, this is just me off my general imagination. This is not from any personal experience whatsoever. I'm just saying if someone walks in there and there's a guy behind the counter and you say, "Hey, I like the experience," he'll be like, "Yeah, sure, just go down to the curtain to the left." You'll go in there, and 2 minutes later, you'll have your little sensation, and then you'll come out, and it'll be the exact same guy, and you'll realize, oh, it's just him.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Fair enough.
All right, so I think we've now we've heard some pretty solid arguments here. Now I think we've got some pretty pretty solid stuff here. I'm going to leave it to the listeners to decide who won that one. I'm not going to make any determinations here because I don't think that's my role as the moderator. My role is really just to serve as the midwife in this birth of an argument. And I think we've got something here. I think we've made a good delivery. We've got a good touchdown here, boys. We've scored some points today. But I think with that, we will leave it there. I want to thank my guests for joining me today, Lochie, Beazleigh, and David Young. Boys, thank you.
Thank you, John. This was actually good fun. I really enjoyed talking to both of you. It's good. Good time, especially during right now when I got nothing else to do. So talking to you guys really good day.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, this is honestly one of the highlights of my week is talking to you boys. It really is. Like, I mean, it's an important thing, and honestly, it's something I recommend to everybody. Like, by all means, like, Pint Party is always going to be here as a good surrogate for like kind of getting your beer banter going, because it's just something you really can't do right now. But I do encourage everybody out there to reach out to to their friends, you know, in any which way they like, be that through, you know, Facebook Messenger or Discord or Skype or shit. Don't forget the mail service or Zoom, or don't forget them. Like we're talking digital, mate. Go old school, go analog, mate. Like why not kick
Your
it like
neighbor.
it's well, no, I was going to say just kick it like it's the the early 20th century and write a letter. The postal service is still going. Get yourself some stamps, some paper, work on your calligraphy skills. So, you know, thank you so much for joining us. If you like what you hear, please, you know, get subscribed on. We're on Spotify, we're on iTunes, where everywhere you like to listen to podcasts. I totally forgot to say,
Please tell two friends.
Tell two friends in 2020. It really does help us out. You know, get them involved. Maybe not start with this episode. This is one for the veterans. I think this is certainly a pint party for people who've been on the bant train for a while, on the bant bus for a little while now. Like this is sort of like, well, I can play in this space with you because I've already, you know, it's sort of like we've come to the slow boil, but this is the boiling water for sure. Maybe don't throw someone in with us right now. Maybe go back a couple episodes and start them off there.
We've definitely covered all the holes with one.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think we've covered all of our bases from first base to a home run. That's for sure. So check us out on Instagram as well at pint.party to keep up with all of our podcast gimmicks and memes and all that like. And if Instagram's not your bag, follow us on Twitter at Pint Party. Is a good place to keep up with us. And if you're looking for a little more kind of Pint Party goodness that extends beyond every Tuesday, you can follow us on Twitch at twitch.tv/pintparty, where for 4 days a week I'm playing video games, or 3 to 4 days a week, I should say. I was going to stream yesterday and then I didn't because I had to go and take care of some serious business. But usually, you know, I'm playing things like I'm playing Exapunks on Sundays, and I play Final Fantasy 12, the Zodiac Age, on Thursdays and Fridays, and it's a good time. And I'm trying to squeeze in some Minecraft on Saturday afternoons. I'm just trying to get all that sorted out, and I'm upgrading my stream tech and all that kind of stuff. But if you want to catch up on previous streams of that as well, especially for something like Final Fantasy 12, like there's a lot of plot going on there. There's a pretty story-heavy game. You can catch up on our previous streams on our YouTube channels. You can follow us on YouTube, or subscribe, I should say. It's follow, subscribe. Is follow a really like generic catch-all term, or do I have to get specific with it? I suppose, no, I don't know. I'll leave that up to you. You can tell me what do you think. You can subscribe to us on YouTube though. Just search Pint Party on YouTube and you'll find us there. And there's heaps. And honest to God, if you're looking for things to put on in the background while you work, there is easily hundreds of hours worth of content there. Like you are never going to run out of something to have on in the background. If you want to just listen to me like prattle on about all kinds of bullshit, it's all there. And even if you want to listen to, say, the whole Bant Gang as well, because all the podcasts, every episode of the podcast is up there as well. So you can go and check those out as well. It's a real one-stop shop for everything Pint Party on our YouTube channel.
Except episode 5 for some reason.
Except episode 5, yeah, which I still need to get sorted out. But I'm getting pretty close. Like once I'm going to get some text out. I want to do it properly. You know what I mean? Like if I'm going to put it up, I want to put up something proper. So I'm kind of just sort of like slowly, you know, chipping away on that while I work on other stuff. But I think that's going to do it all from us for now. We will be, you know, of course, you know, if you just like the podcast, we will see you next week with more Pint Party goodness. But until then, this has been Pint Party. Cheers.
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 This podcast is part of the Hartefact Podcast Network. For more of this and our other podcasts, head to hartefactstudios.com.au.